Hello there, and thanks for joining us on News Center Maine Plus. I'm Brian Iacono. We are joined today by tech expert and co-owner of Uprise Partners, Malinda Gagnon. Thanks for joining us today. Malinda, we appreciate you being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Before we get specifically into today's topic, give us a little background on you, who you are, and why you're in a good position to talk about this.
Sure. So I've been working in tech for more than 20 years. I started at Google about 20 years ago and started to utilize AI tools when they really began back then. And now we all know about AI because of how intelligent it has become. So certainly in the last 2 years have been a game changer in the AI space.
But it's been around a while,
yes.
And we don't even realize that sometimes.
Absolutely.
What were some of the initial things that we were using and maybe didn't even realize AI was part of that?
A great example that we all, I think, have become accustomed to is those customer service chatbots.
That usually pop up in the
Yes.
corner of the screen, right?
That was something that we did work pretty heavily in Google back then, and many companies have adopted that. That's become something that automates responses, helps customers get the information they need faster, and that's become very commonplace.
Especially when we get that little prompt back that says like, I didn't quite understand what you said, but can you phrase it differently? The kind of reading what that information is. So we're talking about artificial intelligence, and GPT is part of that.
Yes.
And we're hearing a lot more about that. Understandably, with anything new, I think there can be some concern, reservation about that. Should we be concerned about these two elements?
There is areas of concern and plenty of areas of opportunity. So the best way to really think about AI, it's a valuable tool to use. Like any tool, it can be used to help you be productive, help you automate tasks, help you analyze things. And if you don't give it the right review and oversight, it can also steer you wrong. So that's something for everyone to keep in mind. It's going to help us, and it is helping us tremendously. I look at AI as a human superpower. And every day we can use it to help us be more productive, to help us do things that we were doing before, but do them more quickly. However, it is not infallible. It absolutely needs human review, human insight, and anything that AI outputs, we have to look at it in detail before we do something with it.
The word that jumped out to me when you were explaining it was it helps us.
Yes.
Doesn't do it for us.
Correct.
It's an assistant, if you will.
Yes.
You mentioned a few there, but what are some practical ways that we could be using ChatGPT or AI here?
Well, you mentioned ChatGPT, and that is actually a tool that I would recommend to start with. It's one of the most powerful tools. Some of the ways that we can use that, let's give a couple examples for every day. You can give it some recipes and ask it to create your grocery list.
Oh, okay.
That's a huge time saver.
We could all use that, I think.
Say you want to have a weekend in Portland. Give it a prompt that says, I like to watch ice hockey, eat Italian food, and I also want to check out the latest art exhibit. Make an itinerary for me, and it will.
Do it.
Yes. So these are some fun ways that you can start experimenting with it in ways that are pretty safe, right? One of the things I would caution everyone when you're using AI, when you're using that publicly available free app that you can download, do not share sensitive information in it. No confidential information, because when you're sharing that, you're contributing to that massive amount of data that those models are learning from. You don't want to share that information with everyone. So just use information that isn't confidential. Now you can opt to pay for a license that would allow you those privacy settings to share that confidential information. So if you're in a business setting, that's often a very good idea. But that's the watch out that I would give everyone at home.
Be careful how much you share. And
Yes.
would that include you used the example of I'm going to Portland for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Don't put in the dates necessarily. Like, what type of personal information should we be mindful of there?
Your home address, maybe your phone number, certainly nothing like credit cards, social security numbers, things like that. So just anything that you wouldn't want published in the newspaper.
I would imagine some people are surprised to hear that this is technology I could just use at home in my kitchen. I don't need to own a business or use it for work. Do you find that people are still incredibly hesitant to even dabble in it?
I think people are nervous about it, and with good reason, because it is a powerful tool. It is a tool that's here to stay, and it's going to become present across literally everything that we do. We may know it's there, we may not know it's there, but the more we can become fluent in this new tool, the better. Think of it when we all started to use the internet. It was a learning curve.
Very unknown.
Absolutely. I was there, right? I still remember handwriting my high school paper.
Oh yes,
Guilty. Before I had a home computer, before that was something that we all used on the everyday basis. But this is a similar type of learning curve. So I would say just start jumping in, start using it. Don't share confidential information. Just see how it helps you do what you've always done, but more quickly.
Okay.
Step number one. Because that's where it comes in as a superpower. You can just do things so much faster. And AI also doesn't allow you to do things or create information about items you know nothing about. That's where the oversight comes in. And that's where people are getting themselves into trouble a little bit, because professors, teachers are having a challenging time right now with students using AI to write papers. Well, it's because that's not how you should use it. AI could give you some great ideas to write that paper.
But not to actually write the paper.
Right, but if you don't have command of the information that you're using AI to assist you with, you're going to get it wrong, because AI isn't perfect. Right. AI is based on human compiled information.
Data that's already out there.
Yes. So if you think about that, think about this massive, massive amount of data that humans created. That's what AI learns from. And it analyzes all of that to surface a useful response. But inherent in that is lots of incorrect information, bias, and
which
things.
we also see out there all the time.
Yes. Right. And that's it echoes the world that we live in. So we have to review it, see if it's what we agree with as the ultimate owner and creator of what we're putting together, and use it as a tool. It's not the end all be all, but it's an excellent tool.
So again, back to your visiting Portland example, even though you may enter in on visiting Portland, Maine for a while, there could be an extraneous Portland, Oregon in there,
yes,
because it's just pulling
absolutely.
from Portland.
Right.
The importance of verifying that information.
Absolutely, and I think a great way of using AI, think of it as an assistant, as you mentioned, and if you were interacting with a human assistant, I'd like an itinerary. In this case, it would be helpful to give the date, because you would want to know if there's a Mariners game or whatever else might be happening that weekend. This is the weekend, here are the dates, I'm going to be in Portland, please give me an itinerary, and they come back with a concert. You can say, well, actually, I prefer a different type of music.
You can adjust that.
It's similar to how you would talk with a human being, and you just go through prompts after prompt, clarifying, asking to remove this, add this, until you get it to where you want it to be.
Keep building on that. Just finally, you mentioned it's here to stay.
Yes.
It's not going on. This isn't a flash in the pan. How do you see it evolving? How do we anticipate it moving forward?
So it will start to become incorporated into every place where we interface and use technology. So our vehicles, home security systems, the way we learn in schools, certainly the way we do business. And this is an area where many, many businesses are asking an excellent question: how can we use this in the best way? And use it, of course, responsibly and securely. So if we think about it in the terms of how does AI help us do what we already do today faster? It's great at automating repetitive tasks. That's a great way to think about how it can be used. It's great at understanding patterns. It's great at analyzing massive amounts of information very quickly. These are all things humans can do. it can do it faster. So how can we use it to do what we do faster and give us more time to do the really strategic and I would say interesting things with our time?
Rather than just sifting through all the data all the time and then just look at it afterward. Interesting tips. I think we will hear a lot more about all of this as we move forward. Malinda from Uprise Partners, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on News Center Maine Plus.